To the U.S. now, where protesters have gathered outside a Wisconsin courthouse to protest the arrest of a judge accused of helping a man evade arrest from federal immigration authorities. Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested by the FBI for allegedly escorting a migrant and his lawyer out of a courtroom through the jury door to avoid federal agents who were pursuing him. After her arrest, Dugan appeared briefly in a Milwaukee federal court, charged with obstructing a proceeding. She was later released. Speaking on his way to Pope Francis' funeral, U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters that his administration is facing issues with judges who do not want to deport people without a trial.
We're having a very hard time with judges because they don't want people to be moved out of the country. Shockingly, nobody's ever had this before. No other president. There's never been a time when this has ever become an issue, where they talk about due process when you have millions of people that you're moving out that are really bad people, very dangerous people, and you have a judge that wants every single one of them to have a trial. So they want us to have millions of trials, therefore. And how long does the trial take? Weeks?
For more, I'm joined now by Ethan Bearman. He's an attorney and adjunct professor at Loyola Law School in Los Angeles. He is also a political commentator. Good to have you with us, Ethan. Now, we rarely see judges being arrested in America, particularly for their work. So what's your interpretation of what's going on?
I mean, this is a very dangerous situation that's going on, and it's reminiscent of the 1930s from my perspective, wherein this was a very public display by the feds, the federal government here in the United States, to arrest this judge at the courthouse, as I understand it. What's important is she may have violated the law by helping this individual evade arrest by the federal authorities. However, the normal course, if a judge is in trouble, and numerous other types of officials or high-profile individuals, is law enforcement will reach out to them to have them turn themselves in instead of creating a public spectacle of their arrest, which is what happened here today.
How will this incident impact the way the Trump administration's relationship with the judiciary at large?
Well, it's already been a contentious one, and we even had the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court make what I consider to be an unprecedented statement that if you don't like the answer from the district court, we have an appellate process, as the Trump administration was busy on social media and in traditional media attacking the judiciary. So he's a Republican, the Chief Justice. This is a Republican-leaning Supreme Court. This is ratcheting up to the next level of what may end up constituting a constitutional crisis here in the United States if the executive branch chooses to continue to attack the judiciary. And also in particular, they keep making statements that regarding judges' decisions and that they don't have to follow them. We're right on the brink of that now, of them not obeying the DC Circuit judge on returning the man who was wrongfully deported to El Salvador.
And I suppose it's not just about the judges' decisions, but even about the trials even happening in the first place. We've heard Trump just now saying it's impossible to have millions of trials in a short period of time. But people facing deportation are entitled to a due process in a court hearing, aren't they?
100%. Anybody that is in the United States, whether or not they're here legally or illegally, get the benefits of due process for the most part. And here in particular, the Supreme Court has repeatedly said in the past, which is called precedent under the law, that people who are here illegally still have due process rights. They have the right to a hearing before they are deported. And that is very concerning, what President Trump said regarding the ability for people to have a trial. That is what differentiates a democratic republic like the United States from a dictatorship or an autocracy and other fascist regimes around the world or through human history of the 20th century is we have the due process of law, not just a facsimile of it, a facade of due process, but we actually have it. And as a matter of fact, I think very importantly, one of the most famous recent ultra-conservative Supreme Court justices, Justice Antonin Scalia, reinforced this repeatedly at the Supreme Court before he passed away, that these due process rights are afforded to people here in the United States, regardless of their legal status. And the idea that we would suddenly set that aside is a very dangerous suggestion from the president, and it's an extremely disturbing potential to happen here in the United States. And there are a very large number of us in the legal system who would stand up and fight that very strongly if that were to come to pass.
Okay, Ethan Bearman, attorney and political commentator in Los Angeles. Many thanks for your thoughts.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.